Greetings, community. It's Kevin of Entropy and Comics, and I'm here to bring you another edition of Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day for 3 2024. And yeah, I just realized we are in the fourth month. Wow. And for many of you, this is Ghost Machine Day. Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. But to start off, I want to go ahead and just acknowledge those in which that have been here, cruise through, subscribed, left comments, so forth. I greatly appreciate you, and thanks for doing this. And speaking of which, Las Cruces, hey Mike, appreciate you being here. And Jigs, hope you're doing well. Well, it looks I had the day off, Want to jump in there and throw out that list to everybody. So to start off, let's go ahead and cruise over at Marvel. Marvel's going to go ahead and bring us Doctor Strange issue number 14. This has been one of the most consistent and best reads out of Marvel, in my opinion. Along with Carnage, Venom, and a couple others, really, Doctor Strange has been rather solid. It's been one of my most anticipated reads every month since it's been out. Doctor Strange is pretty solid, and I can't get enough. So that's why issue number 14 is pretty high on my list. Moving on from Doctor Strange issue number 14, let's cruise over to Giant Size Hulk. Couldn't get a regular one, so we had to go with the giant size. The cool thing is we're not being charged anymore or any less. This is like an $8 book, so it is what it is. But with the giant size, we're already going to get some extra thickness on the actual book in the sense of reading material. It is a standalone story, though, I believe, from what I was seeing, that does connect to some things that are supposed to happen down the road. I am looking forward to this book. But moving out from Giant Size Hulk, issue number 1, we're going to talk over at the Spider-Man Shadow of the Green Goblin. This is a proto-Goblin story. This is giving us the Goblin before the Goblin. And I'm looking forward to this because of late, we've been getting books from individuals that have been telling stories back in the late 80s, early 90s, and in the mid 90s. And we're getting kind of like follow-up stories, which has been kind of cool. It's been like fillering the gappy type stuff. Been totally enjoying it. I can't get enough. So that's why Spider-Man, Shadow of the Green Goblin, issue number 1, is pretty high on my list. Moving out from there, we're going to talk about Venom, issue number 32. Told you about the whole Venom stuff. We've been getting Carnage kind of leveling up. He's in this god status. Now he's set his eyes on Brock. He's leveling up to try to eliminate all the weaknesses so he can go ahead and just take out Brock once and for all. Don't think he really thought this through, because once you do that, then what is he going to do? This has kind of been pointed out to Carnage by Cletus. So it's been interesting to see how all this has been developing, and I really been enjoying the fact that, dude, seriously? Robert, I appreciate you being here, buddy. And I really been digging it because what he's been doing is taking out all the weaknesses that he's had. He's been taking out anybody that's in its way. He's been sucking out all their powers, and it's just been one hell of a journey. What we're going to get when it get to this summer, we're just going to get all out Venom War. It's going to be a symbiote slash 'em up that you're not going to believe, and it's going to be awesome. Seriously, I've been looking forward to what's been going to happen from this 32 and what's going to be. There's almost like a launching pad, and what's going to be happening transparent down the road in the next 3 to 4 months. It's going to be freaking awesome. But moving out from the Marvel side, again, Venom, issue number 32, pretty on my list, coming out tomorrow, 4/3/2024. We're going to talk about the Image Comics. This is what I was talking about, the whole Ghost Machine thing. Jeff Johns and the whole gang have been putting together this universe for quite some time, and it's officially launching tomorrow. We're getting Geiger, issue number 1, Redcoat, issue number 1, Rook, Exodus, issue number 1. This is creating and forming the whole Geiger universe that we're going to get in the next, forever zone. The cool thing is he sets it up with Geiger and Junkyard Joe. And the cool thing is not only has it been highly receptive, but the talent involved inside this stuff is just insane. We've been getting awesome art, great storytelling, and these subtle ways of being able to build this universe and then offshoot from it in a way that's kind of unique. These other universes that are developing up around the Image publishing company. It's been really nothing short of awesome of late. And this is by no way anything less. Again, Jeff Johns is doing a launch party over in North Hollywood, and it's supposed to be a huge bash. A friend of mine, Danny Mickey, who I haven't seen in quite some time, is also doing a signing event this Saturday. I'm going to try to go ahead and jump around and not only look to use this as an excuse to go see these people, but I'm highly anticipating these reads. Again, Geiger issue number 1, Red Coat issue number 1, Rook Exodus issue number 1. These have been not only talked about of late and on various interviews and channels of just even today alone, but this is something that's been talking about for, God, I want to say a solid 6 months. Might even be a little conservatively speaking on that. So again, these are really high in my anticipated reads, and I'm not only looking forward to picking them up tomorrow, but hopefully going to the signing event. Moving out from those three, Geiger, Red Coat, and Rook Exodus issue number 1, we're just go ahead and talk about The Last Mermaid issue number 2. This is a really neat little fairy story that is like not necessarily fairy, but like a fairy tale story in a fantasy world that is post-apocalyptic and beautiful, all wrapped in one. This is one of those stories that has kind of got under the radar and is really awesome. I'm looking forward to not only getting tomorrow's book, but at the same point, I really want to check out the art. It's been really, really not only, how should I say, something to aspire to as if you're an artist, but it's been really enjoyable and immersive as a reader that I find myself just actually staring at a page for a while and forgetting that I'm actually reading a story, which forces me to go back. It's been really awesome. And I really like the palette in which that's been chosen by the artist. And I really been getting, how should I say, involved in more of the art than I have in the story, even though the story is great as it is. Again, I highly recommend if you haven't already checked it out. And the book is a weird, you know what? I have issue number 1 right here. The book is a weird size and it's really unique, but the color, the art, everything is just amazing. So I highly recommend if you haven't already, check it out, Mermaids, because again, issue number 2, The Last Mermaids, is coming out tomorrow. First one is just insane. I just been flipping through it and oh my God. So again, let's try to reel back and get some type of semblance going on here. Last Mermaid issue number 2 coming out tomorrow. And that's 4/3/2024. Moving out from there, let's go ahead and talk about Void Rivals issue number 8. This has been on my highly anticipated reads every month, and it almost made my most anticipated read this month. There's one that beat it out, and those that know you, know me, yeah, you know what I mean. Flip that around. Know which one I'm probably going to pick, and it's really been irking me, and I'll tell you why. But moving out from there, again, we're going to talk about Void Rivals. This is the whole setup of what we got from the Energon universe. This is nothing short of awesomeness for anybody that is of yesteryear, that grew up with the Transformers, grew up with G.I. Joe, grew up with everything that we've been getting out of this product and more, which is again Void Rivals. We got a new product out of that. We got Cobra Commander, which is a standalone story almost, but that the way all this is, and Duke, and I can go on forever because actually, even though it's Ghost Machines just launching, this is the one that I was really looking forward to. This Energon universe is something that I was not only looking forward to, but I've been really fully engulfed in. So if that whole Ghost machine hits me as hard as this, I'm in deep trouble financially. But again, talking about, I know, ADD. Void Rivals issue number 8 is just really topping it off on a beautiful written universe that I can't get enough of. And Void Rivals, again, was just shy of being this week's most anticipated reads. But moving out from the Image whole publishing company that's just killing me with their great reads and stories and art, let's go over to Boom. Boom Studios is giving, well, Grimm issue number 16. Unfortunately, this has been rather inconsistent on its launch per month, but it's been very consistent as far as its art and its And it's writing. The writing has been permanent all the way through. The art has changed up around issue number 8 and got a little more cartoonish, but it's actually got a little more vibrant in that way, and it does reflect what was transpiring in the story. So I kind of get it. Grimm issue number 16 is, man, this has been one of those awesome stories that if you're not really already reading, I do recommend getting the trade. This is a unique story of a person that did not want to be a Grim Reaper, who is one, finds out she's actually related directly to, and the stuff that's going on and how people are trying to, or things that are trying to take over the power is just fascinating and fun. Grimm is a very unique story, and it does, how should I say, I guess, shatter in some ways the tropes that many people think of comic books. And that's what I really enjoy about this independent title all of its own. Boom Studios has, in my opinion, a hit with Grimm. And Grimm 16 is one of my most anticipated reads. Moving out from Boom Studios is cruise on over IDW, and we're going to get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Source Book issue number 2. That first one kicked my freaking butt. I try to get into it, and it reads more of a manual than it does anything else. Yes, you're going to get every timeline. You're going to get every breakdown. You're going to get everything you require. But if you're already not knowing something about what's going on, this will give you all the information. Just doesn't give you any real context. At the same point, it gives you so much context and so much background and so much history that you start scratching your head on what you thought you knew about the turtles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get all 4 source books, slap them all together, which should be something about that thick, and read all together, because I think it'll actually be considerably better read, and the way it breaks down each aspect of its universe will make a lot more sense than to try to just get the read of all the people involved and all the things and all the villages and all the towns. And then so it's probably best to read it all together. So issue number 2 is just going to go on a stack of issue number 1, and I'm going to read up until issue number 4 all together when all of them come out. But that makes it one of my most anticipated reads. I really want to know this. I thought I knew some of this stuff. The more I read into the source book, the less I actually knew. But that doesn't mean that it ain't going to be one of my most anticipated reads, as you well see. So again, IDW, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, source book issue number 2, coming out on 4/3/2024. Moving out from IDW, we're going to a lot of books. We're going to talk about Scout. Scout's giving us this little piggy issue number 2. This thing is about 4 weeks. Yeah, it's like a solid month, a little late. My shop had no idea when it's coming or going, so I'm only hoping that it actually shows up tomorrow. This was actually a really decent read. It's more of a coming age of story for werewolves. Spoiler. So it's awesome. It's very unique, very different, and very fun. It's what we think initially when we see a title like this kind of shatters that whole idea. And that's why it's been really fun as a first issue, and I can't wait for the second. Really, I'm kind of chomping on what big teeth you have, Grandma. But hey, aside from the Scout, this little piggy issue number 2, we're here to talk about, well, that's right, this week's Blue Light Special. And this week's Blue Light Special is Dark Horse, Usagi Yojimbo, The Crow, issue number 1. Now, if you're a fan of Usagi Yojimbo, there already was a Crow book, line, story, thing. But now that we have Yukiichi, there we go, as his relative, I guess his cousin, really. Anyways, and assisting on this is a whole new storyline. This still carries on from the storyline that we got from the last Usagi Yojimbo story, the snow, ice and snow, sorry, where they come out of the mountains and they're being still chased by May and that creepy little kid. I don't know which creepier is, that little kid that's following May or that dead thing that whatever May is. Anyways, and they're still being chased out of the mountains. I was a little PO'd when I actually got to issue number 3 of Ice and Snow, and it seemed anticlimactic initially, but now I understand that it leads into this. That's why I'm chopping on you have no Blue Light Special. Do I need to say more? I am freaking out. I can't wait to get to this book. You know, if I leave now, I might be able to get to the shop and get it. I will wait. It's killing me. Again, 4/3/2024. My Blue Light Special is coming out of Dark Horse, and it's Usagi Yojimbo, this Crow, issue number 1. And hey, I hope you have a great new comic book day. I hope you get what you want. And those in which that dropped in on by, and those in which that leave a comment and have subscribe, I appreciate you greatly. And that's it for me. Entropy. You stay well.